economy of the state.
Government planning to do here?
Yeah, over 2 years ago, Mr. Governor has told the citizens that this trade plant complex will put into proper use. Because if you go inside, you see that all the structures, even the properties there, they are underutilized. Now it has been converted to within business districts. So we have modern structures, high-rise buildings, and at the end you will see a reason for demolishing these obsolete or dilapidated buildings. Because most of the buildings there, some the roof have been blown off by wind, bushes everywhere, and this is the prime of the state. You can know the location. This is the event center, this is the ODRS, on the state revenue service. You can see we are in a beautiful. Now with the plan of the state government here now, it will be simpler than this, even more than this.
Meanwhile, the state government has urged residents to disregard any report by the opposition People's Democratic Party on the planned demolition of the trade fair complex along Igbatoro Road in Akure. The government said tenants in the complex had been given ample notice prior to the demolition, noting that it is not unmindful of the immature efforts of some hired cronies to entrench falsehood. In a statement, the Commissioner for Information and Orientation, Donald Ojogo, said the desire of government is to turn the moribund trade fair complex, which had been taken over by criminals, to a fruit-bearing business hub. Ojogo stressed the government's drive to engage stakeholders, especially private investors, to achieve its desires to bring the needed development to the people and the state. As regards reports to demolish the Akure Mall, the Commissioner for Information and Orientation urged residents to disregard the report, adding that the government remains committed to prioritizing their comfort and accelerating development of the state. Ondo State Government has restated its resolve to enhance food sufficiency by setting all machinery in motion to ensure massive food production. The Deputy Governor, Mr. Lucky Ayedatiwa, at the graduation ceremony and disbursement of startup capital to 260 trained incubatees of the IFAD Life ND project in Akure, said the state government's policies in the agricultural sector are already yielding results. Government House correspondent Timileyin Falade reports that the incubatees, among other things, were trained in cocoa, fisheries, poultry and cassava planting techniques.
Livelihood Improvement Family Enterprises Niger Delta Life ND, a project sponsored by International Fund for Agricultural Development IFAD in partnership with Niger Delta Development Commission NDDC, aims to transform rural economy by ensuring food security and job creation for rural youths and women. Project has now trained 260 incubatees in Ondo State. At the graduation ceremony, Ondo State Deputy Governor Lucky Ayedatiwa, who restated government's passion for the project, stated that Governor Oluwarotimi Akeredolu approved payment of counterpart fund as appropriate to enhance success of the program. Ayedatiwa, who was represented by Deputy Chief of Staff Segun Omojua, said government has put machinery in place to secure the state from the menace of herdsmen and bandits through the introduction of the Amotekun Security Initiative to give the incubatees a secure platform to operate optimally.
Mr. Governor has graciously approved the payment of counterpart fund as and when due. Also, I want to appreciate the efforts of Mr. Governor in securing the state from the menace of cattle herdsmen and bandits through the introduction of Southwest Security Outfit, codenamed Amotekun.
The National Coordinator of IFAD, Dr. Clement Unwen, and State Coordinator Olawale Ademola said IFAD will continue to support agricultural development by empowering youths.
The selected 260 incubatees were trained and empowered by the project in the following enterprises: cocoa, cassava, poultry, and fisheries. IFAD sent independent consultants to come and select the incubators and the incubatee. We at the state level, we were not given any chance to do what? To join them in the course of getting that to be done. Why? He said they are building a very solid foundation.
Other stakeholders expressed optimism that the program will go a long way in enhancing food sufficiency and job creation.
This is no doubt a unique ceremony in our dear Sunshine State, where 260 incubators segregated to 123 female and 137 male will be graduating after receiving training in 4 major agri-business enterprises.
You know, there's a lot to expect. We know Ondo State has the potential to become the food basket of the Southwest. Not to dare say it is already the food basket of the Southwest. But with your businesses, with your ideas, with your growth, we can.
I'm imploring you, the present day country requires sacrifice. It is not government problem only. We have problems that cut across every sector.
Highlight of the event was a presentation of awards and cash gifts to outstanding incubators. The beneficiaries were selected from 10 local government areas of the state. Timile Falade, Osrc News.
Ondo State government says petrol stations must sell fuel at the approved pump price of 165 naira or risk sanction. The Senior Special Assistant to Governor Akeredolu on Special Duties and Strategy, Dr. Donyo Debawale, during an enforcement exercise in Akure, said government will not allow Shylock marketers to exploit residents. OSRC's Richard Ilesomi reports.
Though normalcy has returned to petrol stations in Ondo State after months of fuel scarcity that grounded socio-economic activities, some petrol marketers are still hiding under the crisis to hold and sell the products above the approved pump price. This filling station at Orita Obele along Akure Road is one in many of petrol stations still taking undue advantage of the present situation to hold the product and sell at exorbitant price. But their plan was short-lived when the governor's special task force, led by the Senior Special Assistant to the Governor on Special Duties and Strategies, Donyo Debawale, stormed the place and found out that the station was holding 15,000 liters of the product in its dump.
Our normal practice is when we get to a filling station, we want to dip to be sure that at least you have the product. And if you have what you call the desktop allowed by the governor, 500, we'll leave you because we expect you to also enjoy, your product. But we found that this has over 15,000 liters. Over 15,000 liters. And they refuse to sell to the members of the public. It's unacceptable. So we have a standard. Anywhere we get to, whoever is the owner, anybody, you must sell. You cannot keep the product in your dump.
Beyond hoarding the product, as explained by Dr. Debawale, the station was selling between 175 and 190 naira per litre in contravention of government's directive, and the task force ordered the immediate configuration of the pump to reflect the official price.
If you don't have, don't have. If you have, you must sell. After all, why do you have this place? Why do you have this place? Because you want to make money. No, we won't allow you to cheat anybody. You will not do so. We won't allow it.
The task force ensured it monitored the sale of the product to vehicle owners, Okada riders, and other buyers.
In this country, it's not too hard like that. Within a second, they correct something here now. Within a second, they correct the situation. So God will help them and help all of us that we are here too.
Do you on should débẹ̀ báyìí sí wọn ta ní normal price. Wọ́n ṣe débẹ̀ láàárọ̀ báyìí tó wá pé gbogbo àwọn ọlọ́kadà pé ó yá ilé epo wọn gbọ́dọ̀ ta fún wa ní normal price. Ní wọ́n dẹ̀ dùn wọ́n ṣe ń ta bí báyìí kò dẹ̀ sí màgòmágó ń bẹ̀.
Iye tẹ́ ta fún wa tẹ́lẹ̀ 190, 200. Bọ̀ báyìí adúpẹ́ lọ́dọ̀ Ọlọ́run fún ọ̀gá wa bàbá wa Akeredolu bí ó ṣe ń bá níta ní 165 yẹn inú wa dùn gan.
This is a clear signal that government is not relenting on its resolve to protect residents from Shylock petrol marketers taking advantage of the crisis situation to exploit innocent Nigerians. If you are one of the marketers still hoarding the products and yet to adjust to the official price of 165 naira, it may just be your turn to experience the situation here, as the task force says it is ready to go all out to ensure users of the product are not unduly exploited. Richard Ilesomi, OSRC News.
The Nigeria Union of Journalists, Ondo State Council, now has a new executive to pilot its affairs for the next 3 years. Conducting the inauguration, President of the NUJ, Eze Iziguzo, charged the new executives led by Radio Nigeria's Leke Adegbite to be magnanimous in victory. OSRC reporter Zimo Ebiemi was there and now reports.
Hi, Leke Adegbite.
The new Ondo State executive members of NUJ are Mr. Leke Adegbite as chairman, Mr. King Badamosi as vice chairman, Mrs. Moraina Fatima to take charge of the union's treasury, Mrs. Ngozi Aduloju as assistant secretary, while Mr. Lawani Harimola emerged financial secretary. They were all returned unopposed except for the position of chairmanship where the opponent was disqualified. Inaugurating the new executive, the president of the union, Chris Nzigojo, represented by the vice president, B-Zone, Comrade Ronke Afebioye Samu, commended peaceful transition. The president charged the new chairman of the council, Mr. Leke Adegbite, to reconcile members of the union to bring the needed development to the council.
We are looking forward to seeing a more vibrant council, and we are asking that all members should be supportive of the new chairman and his ESCO.
We're happy that we are now one big family. The election has been conducted free and fair without any court injunction or any biased mind. And I can only wish him and the NUJ a better tomorrow.
Responding, a newly sworn-in chairman of the council from Radio Nigeria, Leke Adegbite, assured that he will bring everybody on board for the success of the union.
And the agenda of a unity group, we are going to execute them to the letter. We also have welfare package like regular training for our members. The way we are going to do our own training is not going to be the usual seminar. We are going to be assisting our colleagues who want to further their education financially and logistically. So, and we also have in our agenda our leaders. And when I'm talking about leaders, the veterans and media executives will be having regular interface with them to ensure that our members who are working in media organizations, their welfare are well protected.
Members of the union who spoke with OSRC pledged their commitment to the progress of the union in the state.
If you are criticizing the larger society, we should be able to wash ourselves clean. This is what we have done. This is a message to the world that we are up to the task.
Together we'll move forward as a union and as one big united family that we have always known to be in Ondo NUJ. We thank God that it is a new dawn.
They should not be biased. They should work with all the stakeholders to bring rapid development to Ondo State.
His tenure will witness good development to the NUJ and to its members.
The new leadership will steer the affairs of the union for the next 3 years. Zimo Ebiemi, OSRC News.
As the 2023 elections gather momentum, Ondo State government has given aspirants seeking political offices till second week of May to pay for pasting of posters and branding of vehicles. Addressing journalists in Akure, the chairman of the State Signage and Advertisement Agency, Mr. Akinwande Akinrodoye, said anyone caught violating the directive would face the wrath of the law. OSRC reporter Zimo Ebiemi has more.
During build-up to elections, strategic places are always adorned with posters of candidates of political parties, sometimes indiscriminately. Addressing newsmen in Akure, the chairman of the State Signage and Advertisement Agency, Mr. Akinwande Akinrodoye, said government would not allow anyone to deface public places and surcharge the state. He called on aspirants from political parties to start payment for their advertisements from now till the second week of May 2022.
All forms of communication during the elections would be paid upon, i.e. the posters, the flyers, the town criers, the branded vehicles, branded office for aspirants and what have you. So it's essential for us to let the people of Ondo State be aware that after the elections, it's the duty of the state government to clean the environment after the elections. However, it's essential for all aspirants at this point.
Some political analysts and governance evaluators have emphasized the need for constitutional reforms to clearly spell out the repercussions for defection by elected executives, as well as the need for political parties to champion ideologies. This is amid gale of defections and Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State might still be at and litigations which had given rise to several implications and demands. Zahid Aribisala reports that respondents also insisted that political parties must begin to assert their supremacy.
Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State shot to national and perhaps international prominence as the first sitting governor in Nigeria to be sacked by a court's decision on the grounds of defection. Though solace worthy of rejoicing for the Ebonyi State helmsman eventually arrived following an appeal court decision to obtain the lower court's judgment, the case has left in its trail different implications and reactions. A former lawmaker in Ondo State, Afe Olowokere, said despite the latest court decision, the earlier judgment has infused some level of sanity in Nigeria's politics.
The first judgment has sent a signal, and you can see some of those that have initially jumped the gun rushing back to their political party, members of the Senate, House of Representatives. Some of them rush back to their party that they have earlier abandoned. So it has, a significant implication.
A political scientist and university lecturer, Dr. Akinola Adekunle, said the case has formed a basis to improve Nigeria's constitution by clearly spelling out sanctions for defecting executives.
If we see political party as a vehicle through which people are being elected, so if you are elected on a platform of PDP, for instance, and you now decide to cross carpet to APC, so the constitution is still not clear as to what is going to happen. So it is possible that subsequent electoral reform or constitutional reform in Nigeria might now categorically state what happened if someone is if a governor is elected under a particular platform and decide to defect to another platform. So it may be included, because it's also the processes of lawmaking is also about true cases. So the recent case now will be gathered to form a basis to improve the constitution.
While it is not uncommon for politicians to attribute their defection to the yearning of the people or division in their party, a social commentator, Olusegun Akinsende, opined that the centralization of resources through implementation of party supremacy will contribute to stemming the tide of defection in Nigeria.
They rely on the strength that they want to enjoy the largesse and the friendship of federal government. There won't be such excuse. You will now man your resources. You now know that by the grace of God, you are in charge. You look within. What are the things you need to do to governize resources, to governize development, to ensure that there is good governance for your people? That will be your thinking. Your thinking will not be to jump from one party to another. Is there anything that is unresolvable in political party? No, there is nothing.
Cross River State Governor Ben Ayade and his Zamfara State counterpart Bello Matawale have also been caught in a similar web, with their defection facing order at the court of law.
Politics is not about morality, but politics devoid of morality too is not good. What's the implication for other matters still pending before different courts of the land? Say the one concerning Cross River, or the ongoing situation in the House of Assembly in Ondo State. My humble submission is that the position of the Constitution at the end of the day will prevail.
While the last might not have been seen in the case involving Governor David Umahi of Ebonyi State, Nigerians have also fixed their gaze on the pendulum currently swinging in other matters. Sahid Aribisala, OSRC News.
That's it on Sunshine Reports. Thank you for being a part of it. Good afternoon.
ò ní ń ṣe nílé ìran àgbò kò ní nǹkan kan ṣe lóko.
ẹ jẹ́ kékun ó máa rìn kí ṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ mi aṣọ nínú igbó àgbàdo inú ṣàgò ó kọjá àdìjẹ̀fà bìyẹn.